Hi, I'm Brenda Quintana coming to you from the Beehive. A couple of days ago, I showed you how to make masculine and feminine t-shirt favors. Today, I'm going to show you how to make these cute tank top favors using the custom tee bundle. This bundle consists of the custom tee stamp set and the t-shirt builder framelits. If you purchase both of these together as a bundle, you can save 10%. These favors are really cute. They hold one Hershey's Nugget and they're made by scoring and die cutting a piece of cardstock. They would make the perfect favors for birthdays or sporting events. These favors were originally supposed to be part of a 3-part series, but I'm going to add one more part to it. Stay tuned later this week and I'll show you how to make my bride and groom nugget favors. Now let's get started and I'll show you how to make these. To start off with, you're going to need your Simply Scored scoring board and you're going to need a piece of cardstock. I've got a piece of Whisper White cardstock here, and I've cut this piece to 6 inches by 1.5 inches. And I'm going to put one of the long sides up at the top of my scoring board. Then I'm going to score at 2.5 inches, 3 inches, and 3.5 inches. Next, you're going to need your Big Shot, and I'm going to use my magnetic platform, and I've already got one of the cutting plates down on top of the platform. Then you're going to need the piece that you just scored, and I'm going to fold it in half along the score line. You'll want to put the open end facing so that it goes through the Big Shot first. And then you're going to need your tank top die right here. And you're going to make sure that the top of the tank top goes through the Big Shot first too. Let me hold this up to the camera so you can see it better. So the open end of the cardstock is going through first. The top of the tank top is also going through first. Make sure your die is centered on your piece of cardstock. And then we're going to take the second cutting plate and we're not going to put it as normal over top of both of them. We're going to slide it down so it ends up just above the bottom of the tank top, so that way the bottom of the tank top won't get cut. Let me show you how to do this on the Big Shot. So I'm going to put my platform down here and I'm going to scoot my second cutting plate through the Big Shot, and then I'm going to place the edge just above the bottom of this tank top die, and then I'll just put my thumb here to hold this in place while I start to bring it through the machine. And then once it catches, I'll move my thumb and then it will cut all the way through. This is what the piece looks like once it's been cut. It's cut through both pieces of the cardstock, and now we just need to cut it free. So just find the side of the tank top and we're going to cut up from the bottom and just complete that line on the side like that. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side. Just cut straight up like that. You can throw this outer piece away and then you're left with this piece. Now's a good time to stamp or decorate this piece while it's still flat. So I'm going to open it up so that it's easier to stamp on. And I'm also going to take a scrap piece of darker cardstock so that I can see where I'm stamping a little easier. I'm going to take my Flirty Flamingo Ink Pad and open it up. I'm going to take my tank top stamp. It has an outline of the tank top, and this is really what I need this darker cardstock for, because it's hard to center it when you can't see the outline of the tank top. So I'm going to hover this over top and see that it's centered, and when it looks centered, I'm going to go ahead and stamp it down like that. And then if you want to, you can also do the back, so just make sure you turn it around and ink it up again. Again, we're going to hover it over top until it looks like it's centered with the white space around it. And once it looks good, then just stamp it down onto your piece. I've sized this favor so that this stamp will fit on here perfectly. Then while we still have our ink pad out here, I'm going to add a little greeting. And this one says All-Star Champ. So let me just stamp down. I'm stamping just below the arm area. And then I'll do the same thing for the other side. You can do these one-sided too, but if you stamp on both sides, then it doesn't matter where you put them out. People will be able to see the greeting from both sides. Like that. Then we need to fold this piece along the other score lines. So let me do that. And now we're going to ignore this middle score line. The Hershey's Nugget is going to cover it up, and we don't need it anymore. Let me grab a Hershey's Nugget, and we're going to take some tear and tape and put a strip right along the bottom and tear it off like that. Then just remove the liner and then put it in between those two score lines like that. And then we need to take some Tombow glue, and I'm just going to put it right up at the top of my tank top and just go right around the neckline like that. And then bring those two pieces together and then just hold them together for a few seconds. Make sure it's lined up on both sides when you do that. And there you go. There is your first tank top. I'm also going to show you how to do a colored one with white embossing on it. So I've already cut myself a tank top, and this one I've done in Flirty Flamingo. And I'm just going to open it up like this. To emboss on it, the best thing to do first is to use your embossing buddy. And I'm going to rub it over the area that I'm going to emboss on. I'm going to use my Versamark pad. And I'm going to use the same stamp that I used on this one, All Star Champ, and I'm just going to ink this up in my Versamark ink, and I'm going to stamp it in the same spot as my other one, like that. Then I'm going to take some white embossing powder, and I've dumped my little container into a plastic container, and I use a little spoon so it makes it easier for colors that you're going to use a lot of. And I'm just going to take a bit of the Whisper White embossing powder and sprinkle it over my Versamark like that. Then I can dump off the excess, and then I'm going to come in here with my heat tool. It looks like this. I'm going to turn it on high. I'm going to let it heat up for a few seconds, and then I'm going to bring it over top of my embossing powder. I'm just going to rotate it in little circles until I start to see the embossing powder turn completely white. And just make sure that you hit all areas of the embossing powder, that they're melted. And then you just finish this off just like you did the other one. So you fold it along the score lines. You take a Hershey's Nugget. You take some tear and tape and put it along the bottom. Tear off the excess. Remove the liner. And place it down in between those two score lines. Then you just take some Tombow and put it along the neckline, and then bring it together and hold it for a few seconds so that it seals the top together. And there you go. I've got a whole bunch of the tank top favors made up, and these would make great favors for birthdays or sporting events. Make them in your favorite team colors, decorate them up with your favorite team logo, and everyone will think they're just awesome. Don't forget to stay tuned later this week for my bride and groom nugget favor. All the supplies you'll need to make these tank top favors are available for purchase on my blog. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. Bye for now. If you like this tutorial, be sure to check out all the free with purchase tutorials available on my blog. The Hershey's Chicken and Egg tutorial is just one of the exclusive tutorials that you can choose free with a minimum purchase in my Stampin' Up! Store.